Through storms, unshaken, unbowed. Through trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it loud. Change in the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrencies the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules, a new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way. Say goodbye to all chains, embrace the new. A financial revolution, fair and true. For the workers, the dreamers, side by side. In Trump's new era, let freedom rise. Change in the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrencies the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to ditch the rich.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Crazy Kryptonaut. I am Zester. And man, I just cannot get over the song in the slightest. And so I will let everyone know that someone is actually working on making that into a song for everyone to be able to download and view. I know I have gotten so many requests to do that, and I finally found someone who knows their way around the music space. And so hopefully people are going to be able to get that song whenever they want very soon. But before I jump in today, because of the crazy markets, before I even say hellos, I'm going to go ahead and go through the disclaimer because there's a lot to talk about. I'm definitely going to be sharing opinions that would stretch over to possibly the world of financial advice. And so please keep in mind that the content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes and not intended to provide financial advice. Please consult with a financial professional before making any investment decisions. And so now with that covered, I'm going to go through some hellos and we're going to get into the insanity of the markets today. There really is, there is no bright spot in all honesty in the markets at the moment. Regardless of whether you hold precious metals, cryptocurrencies, stocks, or whatever, the value has gone down today, and we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to say hello to everyone before we get into all of that information. And so, Gary7, number one, clicking the like today. Gary, I have been insanely busy, but it hadn't been a bad thing. It hadn't been a bad thing. As long as I don't look at the portfolio, things are going great. Things are going great. And so that'll be something we talk about today is making certain that we always keep in mind that when it comes to investments, when it comes to putting money into different markets, that ultimately there is no winner but the person who is looking towards the long term. Warren Buffett, so many others. When you try to play the short game, it never works out. Definitely feeling the long game today, looking at the prices. But thank you so much, Gary. And we're going to jump into that. I'm feeling good, I guess, to summarize at the moment, Gary. I'm seeing a lot of opportunities. Oh, Kukla, thank you so much for joining as always and for everything you do. Captain Spiffy, welcome from Orange, California, and thank you for coming in at number 2 on that like button. I appreciate that so much. You cannot believe. And Gary 7, I think that's a great words of wisdom for everyone out there. I'm believing that there is a plan. Market crashes are not a problem. Gary, it's cyclical. It's as normal as the sun rising each day. If the sun doesn't rise tomorrow, we'd have a real problem. But ultimately, when it comes down to markets and these general fluctuations, it's as normal as it gets. It's something that genuinely just occurs. We can look throughout all of human history. We can look at just the Dow Jones, just our American stock market, and we can see the exact same process occur over and over and over again. We can look further back in history and we can see the same occurrence with commodity prices in Rome. I mean, we can go that far back. These things are normal. They are not fun, but they are normal. It's not something that's worth panicking over, because ultimately, when we start to panic, we start to make really bad decisions. It's a part of human anatomy. It's our psychology. We were never built to have any reaction to pain or danger besides two. We have flight or we have fight. And that is where investing becomes so difficult. Is because as humans, we are inherently built with two options: fight or flight. And if we don't really have an option between the two, because investments are a type of pain that as humans, we really can't run from. Our only option is to sell, and that stops the pain, quote unquote, stops the pain, or our option is to hold. And that creates a very, very weird reaction in our human brains, because we feel as if we don't really have anything to do in regards to contributing towards stopping the pain. And so I would say in times like this, that psychology and that general disposition of humans is something that's very important to keep in mind, is that we are built to run from pain. We're built that way. It's biological. God made us this way. God made us extremely fearful of pain. Now, he taught us to not run from it, but he also made us to where it's an extreme feeling. And so please keep that in mind when you are looking at your investments across the board, whether it's gold, silver, crypto, stocks. It doesn't matter today. They're all down. And we're going to jump in and talk about that in just a little bit. But keep in mind, it's everybody. Everybody is hurting today. Everybody. Doesn't matter what you picked. You could have picked vanilla. You could have picked chocolate. You could have picked, what is it? Rocky Road. You could have picked, my favorite ice cream, banana pudding ice cream. You could have picked any one. No matter what flavor you picked, the price is going down today. And so keep that in mind, guys. It's a very normal reaction to be worried about it. It's very, very normal. The important thing is to keep in mind that we don't have any control over it. And ultimately, if our reason for making the investment was sound in the first place, that logic is still sound today. The only difference is the color on the chart, red or green. What's up, Tahoe? Greetings from Lake Tahoe, the jewel of the Sierras. Thank you so much for joining today, Tahoe. I hope you're having a good one. And what's up, Edward? And Mile High Trish and Dwayne. Oh, and David, thank you so much for my apple. Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Marlena, this is a great question, actually. Marlena says, hello. Can somebody answer this question, please? So all these years we were told that Bitcoin is deep state and now it's supposed to be good. Marlena, I actually have a lot of different theories on this one. Now, of course, my first thing that I would state is that Donald Trump came out himself and said that the United States government will never sell another Bitcoin again if he is president. And so Donald Trump obviously believes in Bitcoin. He is supporting it. I have two theories on this, Marlena. One theory is that we have finally gotten the cabal out of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, and that is the reason he is endorsing it. That is my first theory. My second theory, in which I kind of lean more towards, just because I'm not certain. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. And either of them work out in our favors if we keep them in mind. But when it comes down to the when it comes down to the second one, it's that maybe we were just being fed that Bitcoin was bad because it was a matter of an opposition campaign. And so this is, to me, a little bit more of that out there conspiracy that I have in regards to the situation. But think about it. The left was sold that cryptocurrency was great. And now the left is pushing central bank digital currencies. The left is pushing crazy regulations. They are pushing for authoritarianism. And their followers are going, well, it's crypto good, because the left kept pushing that cryptocurrency was good. Whereas the right kept pushing that cryptocurrency was bad. Maybe we got tricked in that they were pushing crypto positive on the left in order to support the authoritarian goals of central bank digital currencies. And they were telling us on the right that it was horrible. Don't participate. Don't do it. It's a scam. Whatever they were telling us, that's what they were pushing. And so I do wonder, because the best advertisement in many cases is not a matter of selling a good. It's convincing people to never buy that good. And essentially, we're living in a world where they convinced us as conservatives to not participate in cryptocurrency. They convinced us not to, while convincing everyone on the left to participate in it. This can go either direction, in my mind, Marlena. It could either be that Bitcoin has finally been cleansed, and now we finally do have a free, fair cryptocurrency and blockchain to participate in, or it could be that we were being sold a false bill of goods from the beginning. The left was pushing crypto bad. It's the best way to keep us from financial freedom in the future, to convince us that if we bought Bitcoin, it's backed by nothing. It'll be gone in no time. All the while, they're buying Bitcoin, but they're telling you not to, because they want the price to be lower. They don't want to pay more. And so for me, Marlena, it's one of the two. Either Bitcoin has finally been cleansed, or they were lying to us the whole time. One of the two. And so distracted, definitely there, Marlena. But that is a great question. Thank you so much for providing it. And so I'm going to do a little bit more of the hellos, and we're going to jump in. Otherwise, we're going to get a little too distracted. So what is up, Maria Luisa? I hope you are having a blessed start to the week. And what's up, Donna? Thank you guys all so much for joining. And Linda and LG Lady and Neil. I mean, I don't know what I would do without my weather update. My family still does not know how I tend to know the weather around them without having ever asked. Neil, thank you so much for that one. 89 degrees and cloudy in Graham, North Kakalaki. I appreciate it. And not a bad day. Not a bad day for the summer. I mean, August and September always were our worst months for heat when it comes to North Carolina. And so that is not a bad sign. What's up, Deborah and Grandma Sally. Yeah, Captain Spiffy, the whole world is in chaos. Dogs and cats living together. Who knows what's going on nowadays? It is tough to even try to keep up. All right, though, guys, I know that we have a lot more hellos, and I am sorry I'm not going to be able to get through all of them, but we've got a lot to go through today. A whole lot. And so, first thing is first. Let's go ahead and look at what the crypto markets are doing. Needless to say, it's not pretty. It is not pretty in the slightest. So we have rebounded from where we were, and we are currently rebounding. But at this exact moment, we are looking at Bitcoin at $54,607, 7.2% down in 24 hours, 18.7% down in 7 days. Now, digging into this one a bit more, we will see that Bitcoin dropped below 50,000. We hit 49,221. Well, very, very early in the day. Very, very early in the day. Now, why is this occurring? Why? Well, the answer is something that is still not fun for the crypto community, because we don't like that we're still tied to other traditional markets. But ultimately, it all comes down to right here. Look at the Dow Jones, down 2.6% over the day, over 1,000-point drop. Largest drop in the U.S. stock market since, I believe, 2021 in regards to that. So largest single day drop. We at one point were sitting around 38,499. So that would have been another 200 points on top of that, somewhere around 1,250 points down on the day at our lowest. Now, a lot of these losses are really coming from the blue chips. So Apple, in all honesty, is the one that I would really look at that has been absolutely floundering. To give a little bit of background on that one, even Warren Buffett and his company have sold over half of their Apple stock. If we were to look at one company that right now seems to be genuinely struggling in the tech sector, it would seem to be Apple. Answers in regards to that one, absolutely. Those are going to end up being things that we get to learn about after the event has occurred. Unfortunately, that tends to be how a lot of these things work in traditional finance. But we're seeing a massive, massive sell-off of Apple and other major companies. Going down the list, Walt Disney, 2%, JP Morgan, 2.13%, Walmart, 1.27%. Everybody is losing today, no matter where they're at. But when we come down here and we really look at the guys that are getting hammered, we are seeing Apple, Intel at 6.34% on the day, Apple at 4.82% on the day, Cisco 4.11% on the day, Amazon 4.1% on the day. We are looking at all tech companies. All tech. Intel, of course, some of you are probably watching this stream using an Intel computer. At the very least, I imagine you're probably using an Intel processor inside of that computer or inside of your phone. Or Apple. Many folks are probably watching the stream on an Apple phone, or they're watching it on an Apple computer, a Macintosh. For everyone that is currently watching the stream, Cisco Systems is providing your cloud data. They are the ones securing your information when you are doing anything online. They're the ones providing data storage for the vast majority of these companies. They're massively down. Amazon.com They're the ones providing your easy access through technology to a lot of these other resources. And it seems as if that is a pretty surefire way to figure out who is struggling at the moment. It is tech. Tech is struggling. And now, to me, there's a very easy answer here. Ultimately, tech and these different corporations have been extremely overvalued over the past couple of years. Think about the internet boom. Think about the fact that these companies, many of them that were there during the late 90s and early 2000s, no longer exist. But they all boomed in price. What we've seen over the past couple of years is a huge boom in tech companies. And now we're starting to see the repercussions. And they're leading the charge downward in regards to our current market effect. And so Intel, Apple, Cisco, Amazon, absolutely falling into the gutters today. And this is not new. They were the same companies that were falling in value on Friday. They were the same companies that were falling in value on last Thursday. They are struggling not because their financials are bad, but because investors and our current administration essentially overinflated their value. Apple is not worth $209 a share. It was not worth $220 a share. It honestly is probably not worth $100 a share. And that is the reason we're seeing this coming from the stock side. What we're seeing, though, across the board is a rebalancing. And that is the reason that we're seeing losses all over the place. But who is recovering the fastest? Well, crypto is. As a matter of fact, I can just sit here and I can keep clicking the refresh button. Bitcoin is up 2.8% in the past hour. We are back from literally $6,000 lower a matter of hours ago to now sitting at 55,000 and continuing to climb. Crypto is rebounding. Now, in regards to gold and silver, our precious metals, we are not seeing a rebound. Now, I strongly believe that our gold and silver is going to see a rebound in the very, very near future. I have no doubt in regards to it. But ultimately, cryptocurrency is infinitely faster than precious metal markets. Our crypto markets are genuinely 24/7, 365 days a year. You can execute, operate, and utilize your cryptocurrency any moment, anytime, any day. When it comes to the traditional stock market and it comes to precious metals, we are restricted to operating hours. It's the same idea. McDonald's might have the burger you want. Taco Bell might have the taco you want, but ultimately you got to show up when they're open. It's the same thing with gold. It's the same thing with stocks. And so these markets are going to trail behind crypto. Crypto is already rebounding. We already see the general increase. XRP up 2.5% in the past hour. Solana 2.6%. Bitcoin 2%. And so in that regard, we are definitely seeing which of the different traditional assets rebound the fastest. And this is something I think everyone needs to keep in mind. When I talk about cryptocurrency and I talk about the importance of understanding it in the future, it's because it is a far more liquid market. It's usable. It's usable. Ultimately, right now, none of us are going to know the price of gold until tomorrow. Or, 36 minutes. Actually, I believe, because it's World Spot. And so we will know based off of World Spot in a matter of 36 minutes. But ultimately, these indicators, these prices, they shut down, they turn back on. Crypto is 24/7. It never stops. And for those that are worried about it, and so Robbie Buck, Zester, losing faith in XRP and altcoins. The market manipulation is stopping any bull run. I thought silver was manipulated. Crypto is just as bad. Robbie, I absolutely agree. And you are 100% correct. Crypto is manipulated. Silver is manipulated. Gold is manipulated. Oil is manipulated. Unfortunately, all of our different avenues are manipulated. Ultimately, what we have to make the decision between nowadays is, and really in my mind, there is no conversation to be had besides precious metals, cryptocurrency, and real estate. There is no discussion to be had because everything is being manipulated, but at least they have intrinsic value. Your real estate, your property has intrinsic value. We need a place to live. We need a roof over our heads. It's intrinsic value. It's fundamental. With gold and silver, it's fundamental value. It may go down today. It will come up at some point. With crypto, I view it very similarly to precious metals in the same idea, where I view cryptocurrency, at least the right cryptocurrencies. I view XRP, I view Bitcoin as hard assets. I do view them as hard assets. If I hold 0.2 of a Bitcoin, I will forever hold 0.2 of a Bitcoin. It will never go away. I will never lose it. I will always have 0.2 of a Bitcoin, and it will always be worth 0.2 of a Bitcoin. In the same way that if I hold 1 gold ounce, it will always be worth 1 gold ounce. The price of gold may change, but ultimately the value I hold never changes. I still hold the same amount I did yesterday. And that is a very important thing to keep in mind on days like this. And it's the same idea, but the only difference is with the stock market that, think about it. I mean, look at GameStop. So with a stock, you can buy a stock at a set price, and then the company can decide to split shares and completely dilute your holdings. They can decide to do essentially whatever they want to. With cryptocurrency, with gold and silver, that's not an option. There is no company, there's no central authority that just suddenly decides that we're going to dilute everyone's value because we feel like it or we want to. It's not a thing. And so keep in mind that that 1 gold ounce is always worth 1 gold ounce. And that 1 Bitcoin is always worth 1 Bitcoin. We are the ones placing a dollar value on it. And we know that our dollar is worthless. All right, though, guys, jumping back into it, let's go and see what some of the different talking heads have to say. Yeah. Oh, well, Patricia Lee, before I jump into that one, I think that's great. A great point to make. Patricia Lee says, Zester, I would take President Trump saying, don't sell your Bitcoin as saying it'll come back. I would absolutely agree. I would absolutely agree. Donald Trump said the cardinal rule of Bitcoin is you never sell your Bitcoin. That is coming from our president's mouth. And I do not believe that our president would screw us over. I don't believe that. I do not believe that Donald Trump would send us off to go buy things and place our future in the hands of something that he has any inclination could ever be turned against us. I don't believe that. If you believe that President Trump would tell us that and it's a lie, then more power to you. I don't. And I think that's a perfect point, Patricia, because I believe Trump. I trust him. He says, don't sell. I haven't sold anything. And when it comes down to it, the only things I believe that we can really trust at the moment are our precious metals and our crypto. And so, jumping in, of course, guys, I always hammer on this point. Why does crypto fall so fast? Crypto falls so fast because of leveraged traders. So, as Bitcoin crashes below 53K, and this is an old article. The leveraged traders that ended up getting liquidated ended up being around $2 billion earlier today. But this is an old article, and at that point, just at below 53K, $600 million of investor money had been liquidated. These were leveraged trades. For everyone that may be new, this is my ultimate pet peeve. I hate leveraged traders, and I do not use that word lightly. I genuinely do not like them. I understand why they do it, but for those that do not know, what a leveraged trade is when you go to a centralized exchange or to another liquidity provider, essentially someone who will give you credit, and you say, hey, here is my $1,000. I would like you to give me $50,000 to invest. And if the price of what I buy drops by, in this case, 2%, because it's $1,000 to a $50,000 loan, which is 2%, then you will liquidate my holdings in order to cover the trade. That is something that occurs so often in traditional finance that it would absolutely horrify people. But it's far more apparent in cryptocurrency because we're capable of actually seeing what people are doing. And so in crypto, we're capable of seeing that people took leveraged positions at certain price points. And so when we start to see a sell-off, what happens is Jim sells. Jerry had a leveraged trade right below the current price. And so if the price just drops 1%, Jerry gets liquidated. And when Jerry gets liquidated, Tina, who had a leveraged position at a price point just below him, Tina gets liquidated. After Tina is liquidated, we go on and on and on and on. And it is because people are taking out debt, essentially, in order to trade. It is the reason that we have so much volatility and so many problems inside of traditional and blockchain finance. Oh, hey there, kitty boy Rocky. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. And yes, a work in progress. Good point. Split shares, you get twice the shares for half the price, but then the stock usually sells off after. Some get hurt badly. Exactly. In the stock market, they make the rules. Corporation makes the rules. They decide they want to make more shares. Guess what you deal with? More shares and the value of the shares you hold going down. We have no control over what they decide to do. None. And that's why having the rules set out from the beginning is so important. In our modern system, it's like we're playing Monopoly with a 4-year-old. And I don't know if anyone else has had that experience, but have you ever played a board game with a kid and the kid doesn't like losing? Guess what? They start making up a lot of rules. And essentially, when you're playing in the stock market, you are playing with your financial future against a kid in Monopoly. You are playing Monopoly with a 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old's in charge. And that really is the modern stock market. It is nothing more than you trying to beat a 5-year-old at Monopoly. It's funny to think about. I'm imagining now legitimately, grown people sitting in a room playing Monopoly against a 5-year-old as the 5-year-old robs them blind, making up new rules throughout the entire process. Yep. Working margin calls hit everything today, including crypto. They absolutely did. And that's a good point, a work in progress. It is known as a margin call. That is what occurs when your leverage position is liquidated. It means that you no longer have enough funds to meet the margin. All right. Hey, Neil Brooks, Zester, I'm still buying crypto on the drop. I'm all in. I am the same way. I am the same way. I don't go crazy, but I always look for good opportunities and a work in progress. Zester, did you do that with your pops playing board games? I mean, maybe. I don't think so. I'm a pretty rule-based person. I would just probably have been the kid that would get genuinely upset and keep focusing more and more and more on figuring out how to win. I learned how to count cards just to make certain I would win at blackjack with my grandparents. And so I think that would have probably been more my personal reaction because I did. I learned how to count cards just so I would have an advantage every Friday when I used to go down to my grandparents as a kid, because I did. Every Friday, I would go down and I would have dinner and spend the night at my grandparents' house. Somo and Big Bo were their nicknames that I gave them. And I would go down every single weekend to spend that time with them. And we would play poker or Monopoly or checkers or chess. And so that's what we would do every single Friday. I did it for many, many years of my life as a child. And I remember that I got irritated when I didn't win at blackjack all the time. So I started learning how to count cards on account of that. So I think I would go the alternate route there, a work in progress. I would figure out a way to game the system. I would try. I did play board games, Kukla, a surprising amount. Mainly a lot of Monopoly. But all right, guys, let's jump back in to our stories. A $500 billion plunge, the largest 3-day wipeout for crypto in a year. So, in a matter of 3 days, we've seen the largest drop in value in the crypto markets in 12 months. And really, it's being perpetuated from the traditional side in regards to jobs data and a general fear of a recession. Now, for many folks, a lot of these articles that we read during things like this, I just slap my head and go, well, duh. I mean, duh. Anybody with half a brain has been looking at our economy and saying we're in a recession. We're not about to be in a recession. We've been in a recession. And we should be far more concerned about whether it's not transcended into a depression. We should not be arguing about whether we're in a recession. We're in one. Anybody that's gone to the grocery store anytime soon is very, very aware of the fact. It's occurring now. And that does make a lot of these articles and a lot of the talking heads' opinions seem kind of stupid to me. I mean, yeah, of course, revived fears. Who needed their fears of a recession revived? My fears of a recession are very much alive and breathing. I don't need any help getting them back up and moving. We know it's happening. It's been happening, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. For another headline, Bitcoin bounces to 53K after brutal sell-off reminiscent of COVID crash. And so, for those that we're not aware or we're not paying a lot of attention to the crypto markets during the COVID days? Well, needless to say, things got real ugly. Real ugly. I mean, we saw on certain markets, we saw Bitcoin get as low as 10,000 during that time frame. And so we are now being related to, I would say, anybody looking at the chart can pretty obviously see that this is not as bad as the COVID crash. And so, if we were to just go back and keep extending through, we would see that things went up immediately after. And so here we have February 12th, 2020. We're looking at a $10,000 Bitcoin. We then saw Bitcoin hit $5,369 down there at the bottom. And so we saw about a 50% drop on account of the COVID crackdowns. And since then, we have seen a massive boom. And so, if we are truly going through another quote unquote COVID crash, that's good news. That's extremely good news. Because when we look at that timeline back in 2020, what we see is about a 50% drop, extremely fast. And then we see a 1,000% increase. It would be a 1,000% increase from the low of the COVID crash. 1,000% increase in a very small amount of time. And so when it comes to the worry in regards to the COVID crash, I disregard any and all statements in regards to it, solely because if we were to repeat the same cycle of the COVID crash, that would be a good thing. That would be an extremely good thing. Is it going to hurt in the short term? Oh yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad in the short term. But in the long run, if we are repeating the same thing as the March 2020 crash, we're about to see a massive bull market after it. And so I really hope we follow this chart. I really hope we follow this chart. Because if we do follow this exact chart, just to do a little bit of math for everybody, that chart shows a over 1,000% increase. That is 10x. And so if we were to follow the same exact chart that we did during the COVID crash, we would be looking at over a $500,000 Bitcoin in a matter of less than a year. Or in less than a year. And so hopefully the talking heads are correct and we are following a COVID crash, because a COVID crash resulted in a lot of new millionaires. All right, continuing forward though, guys, and I am going to be out of articles fairly soon as a heads up, but we have a little bit left to talk about after that. And so, crypto candidate in Arizona is winning so far, despite Senator Warren's headwind. Arizona candidate who has received $1.4 million in crypto help is maintaining a 67 vote lead several days after the primary election, with a small pile of voters left to verify and count. So this is another one that is interesting, because we are seeing the influence of the crypto industry. A deluge of crypto industry money may have helped achieve a very narrow Arizona congressional primary win this week for Yasamin Ansari, a crypto-cheering Phoenix City council member who faced a candidate backed by Senator Elizabeth Warren. What I find to be extremely interesting here is the fact that the crypto industry is not just going after Elizabeth Warren, they are going after everybody she supports. Not just her. They're going after everybody. If you have Elizabeth Warren come out and say that you're a good person, the crypto industry is about to attack you. And they're about to attack you with millions of dollars. And I'm not certain on that scorched earth policy. I'd actually be curious what y'all think about that general idea of total scorched earth. Because the crypto industry and crypto packs are currently doing that. If you are associated with anyone that dislikes crypto, they are going after you. We are spending money to make certain you do not win again. And so I'm curious what people think on that one. Is that over the top? Is it unfair to go after people that Elizabeth Warren is backing and spend? I mean, this is a small race. She is a Phoenix City council member. $1.4 million. And that is a lot. That's a lot of money. Is that over the top, or is that what's necessary in this point in time? I'd be curious to see what everyone else thinks. I know when I looked at the number, I started to do a lot of math in my head and go, that's probably more money than the opposition candidate even raised in months. And in one fell swoop, she got $1.4 million just to go out there and beat anyone that is friends with Elizabeth Warren. And I think that it is righteous, because I do believe that a lot of these people are supporting, condoning, and really perpetuating horrible, horrible things around our country. And so I think going after them is righteous. But at the same time, where's the line drawn? Where's the line drawn? Is it just policy, or is it association? Policy or association? Is it just because they know each other, or is it because they believe in things we disagree with? That's a question I would leave for everyone to take out there, to not only cryptocurrency, but to also other topics. All right, though. This one is fun. So according to Polymarket, and so for everybody that has been watching for a while, remember Polymarket is the blockchain gambling odds site. It is where people go and they take their cryptocurrency and they place it behind the different things they believe are going to happen. Polymarket is really big into the political season this year. We know that Polymarket believes Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide. That is where people have put their money. Now, keep in mind, Polymarket and crypto gambling back in 2016 said that Hillary Clinton was a lock. A lot of people made a lot of money by betting on Donald Trump winning the 2016 election. And I mean a lot of money. And so these markets have traditionally been correct, but they were wrong in 2016. And so they are currently gambling, though, that Kamala Harris is set to pick Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro for her vice president. And this is another one where I'm curious. Have people been hearing Shapiro's name floated out there? Is this a surprise? Is this new information? Because when it comes down to these crypto gambling markets, they are based off of logic. They are not biased. They're not feeling some kind of way. These are people making the most logical decision they can. They betted that Trump was going to be the 2024 candidate. They were right. In a landslide, they were right. They are now betting that Kamala Harris is going to pick Shapiro as her VP. Will they be correct? Well, we'll have to wait and see. we'll have to wait and see. But in all honesty, I think they'd be smart to pick him. I think they'd be smart to pick him, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Are the gamblers going to be right? Are the gamblers going to be right? All right, another good one though here. Make America Mine Again. How Donald Trump's plan for US Bitcoin dominance could trigger a new digital gold rush. This is one that is extremely interesting because it ties outside of just blockchain technology. This plan from Trump in regards to his administration and their adoption of a strategic reserve of Bitcoin also includes the idea of drill, baby, drill. That really is what is a major component of it. Donald Trump, while on stage at the Bitcoin conference, not but a very few days ago now, stated that he intends for the United States to start drilling again and to become self-sufficient in regards to our energy, which of course we should be. Not a question, not a doubt. We should do that completely regardless of crypto. But the counterpoint and that other effect that will occur from us having cheap and efficient energy is that we will become actually competitive in the mining industry. We will be able to set up Bitcoin and crypto miners that are utilizing energy from our domestic grid in order to essentially take money from the rest of the world. Because that's the way it works. When Kazakhstan or China are mining more Bitcoin than us, what they're doing is taking our money. They're taking our money because we then have to go on and we have to spend US dollars to buy that Bitcoin mined by a Chinese company. Where does that money end up? In China. And so this is far more important than just a matter of us starting to be positive towards crypto miners. There's way more to it. We need the ability to have cheap and efficient energy. We need to be competitive on a global market. And then we will be capable of selling our cryptocurrency to other nations and taking their money. That is literally what happens with crypto mining. If you are the country that is mining cryptocurrency, you are essentially siphoning dollars from everyone else's economy. We mine it, we sell it, it's our money. That is what we would be capable of doing under Donald Trump with his current plan. We would bring in huge amounts of dollars from foreign countries if we were the ones doing it. Kazakhstan became an extreme mining country because of cheap energy, and Kazakhstan made more money in a year than they made in 100 years on account of it. That is the degree to which it is powerful. That is why Donald Trump is talking about not only do we want to be able to go to the gas station and be able to drive to work or maybe take a nice Sunday drive, we also want to be able to have cheap electricity in our houses and in our commercial establishments so that we are then capable of taking advantage of another huge opportunity of the 21st century, and that is becoming a dominant miner of crypto. All right. Another first movers America. Bitcoin crashes to 50K is perfect storm. Hits crypto market. Lots of really, really catchy headlines. It's funny how the news always loves bad news. You'd think if you were the news, you'd like good news, but that never seems to be what they're into. They love bad news. To go ahead and take one moment, though, to kind of talk about Ethereum. Ethereum has taken this on the chin. Ethereum is currently sitting down 26 0.8% over the past 7 days. An absolute shellacking on Ethereum. 11% in 24 hours, 7.1% for Bitcoin, BNB 7.7%. And so we're seeing a bit of a split occur here where Ethereum seems to have absolutely suffered to a larger degree with this recent downturn. For those that hold cryptocurrencies like Shiba Inu, and I use that as an example a lot because it's a crypto many people know is on the Ethereum chain, or Chainlink, or a lot of others. They are suffering along with Ethereum. Now, we know that the market tends to follow each other, and so I would keep that in mind as you look at these numbers. But yes, there is a massive drop, and the drop gets worse the further you scroll in a lot of regards. We come down to the 30s, high 20s, lots of 30% down. Solana 29, Avalanche 28, Chainlink 30%. Oh my God. I do not want to look at my portfolio in Chainlink at the moment in the slightest. Not in the slightest. And so we see that this has extended out to an extreme degree, a very, very extreme degree in regards to the market. All right, though. For a little bit of good news there at the end, it does seem that these sellers are starting to wear out. Bitcoin analysts see seller exhaustion as BTC price rebounds 10%. We are starting to see a general slowdown of sales in regards to Bitcoin. One thing that I would say, guys, and is not out yet in regards to information, I am curious whether this recent downturn is actually on account of the current Biden administration trying to liquidate Bitcoin holdings before Trump takes control again. And so that is what I think may be going on. But ultimately, we're not going to be able to prove that until we have some time. And so, with all of that said, with a lot of negative news, and I know a lot of people worried out there, I'm going to share one last thing because there is something that I did not provide over the weekend that I would like to provide now. For those that are worried about setting up their Ledger Nano S Plus, I went and I put together a little playlist from Ledger official website. And so I am going to be sharing that in the in our chat. And this is a breakdown of what is inside the box when you purchase a Ledger hardware wallet. How do you set up your Ledger hardware wallet? And how do you migrate cryptocurrency from, say, a different hardware wallet to your new Nano S Plus? And so my apologies to those that were looking forward to that stream on Friday. Unfortunately, I did not have the ability to do anything on account of the insane storm that was rolling through Puerto Rico, or at least my area of Puerto Rico during that time. Pops was literally like 30 minutes before Pops was going live is when the storm ended, and suddenly the internet kicked back on for him last Friday at 7 p.m. So my apologies for not being able to provide that on Friday, but I did put together this playlist. And what I want to do is I want to see the questions that folks have after they go through this one. And then I'll be able to go more directly towards answering all of the different questions that folks might have. And so please, 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 guys, take this link. That link that was just shared in there, that is to a playlist of opening up a hardware wallet and setting up a hardware wallet. I am going to take over from their videos in terms of talking about adding the wallets and moving crypto over. But it would be really nice if everybody already had their wallet set up when we started that lesson. And so for everyone that does want to go through and get their hardware wallet, get all their crypto onto a hardware wallet, please, please, please check out that link. As a matter of fact, Kukla, if you don't mind, maybe we share that one further out for everybody that does have a ledger and maybe hasn't set it up or is maybe a little bit confused on how to set it up. Because that is going to get you through the whole process. I'm going to take over on the training at the point that you have the wallet. And so you have the wallet exists, and I'm going to show you how to get your crypto onto it. The reason being for this, guys, is because I tried to record the video over the weekend. A lot of the screens I was trying to record are actually security protected. And so when I tried to record the screen, it was just a blur because those websites have security protocols built in to keep people from trying to steal personal information. And so I was trying to record that video, and essentially it was just me with a big blurry screen all around me. And so I thought about it and went, hey, maybe I should just go and I should search for what Ledger's put out, because Ledger is capable of putting out videos that aren't all blurry because, well, they control that little security function. And so I found their videos and I put them together in a playlist. That playlist is available through my channel on YouTube. And so if you go to the Crazy Cryptonaut on YouTube, you'll be able to go to the playlist tab and you will see a playlist sitting down there. And so if you're not currently watching, you can go through that route in order to access the playlist. All of the videos are from Ledger, the company themselves. They are very well done. They have way more money and production capability than I do, unfortunately. And so they are very well put together and they're to the point. And so thank you guys so much for joining this evening. Thank you, Kukla, for absolutely everything you do. And yes, guys, we did have a lot of folks join today. I think we hit 120 viewers there for a moment. At least that's what I saw on my side. And that was just on YouTube. We had far more also over there on Rumble. And so thank you all for joining. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see you again on Wednesday. And I'm not going to make any promises, but I think I have a music video releasing in the next 24 hours. But fingers crossed, we will see. I think we're going to have a music video releasing. And then for one last thing before we run away, and I'm literally going to bring both of them, and then I'm going to shut off the camera. But we're going to get some kitty cats. Yes, Tino, you have not made a visit recent enough. Tino is here to say goodbye. He was taking a nap on the bed. But we've had Tina so often, we need a little bit of Tino in our lives. And so Tino says, absolutely, absolutely. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining. And hopefully Tino isn't upset with me for interrupting his nap. I'm certain he'll forgive me. All right. See you guys.